Okay, so in this session, I'm actually going to compare ChatGPT with Google Bard. So, on the right-hand side is ChatGPT. I've been using it a lot, so you can see there. If I hit the double control, you can see all of the queries and stuff that I've had on it previously. Um, and on the left-hand side here, I've got Bard. I haven't used it yet. I put in one query actually, like a test one, but I did a reset of the chat, so it's effectively empty. Here, if I wanted to do, I could delete all of these chats and a whole bunch of old chats in GPT. And actually, one of the things with GPT is it's sort of like slow. Sometimes it misses a lot of the chats. But let's just go in here anyway. An F string in Python. Um, there you go, and I can sort of like delete the chat and hit tick. I've got loads of these things open, and that's because the whole list was deleted before, so now they sort of like popped back. I'll go through and delete some of them, and then I'm just going to do literally a side by side comparison. You can see the little star thing, it's just a tiny bit slow, it's a bit temperamental, so I guess we're all hoping that either GPT speeds up or Bard supersedes it possibly. But the other thing is just to note, this is GPT-3 and not GPT-4, so GPT-4 is supposed to be better. Tons of questions you can see, like I've asked it a lot, sometimes just to get syntax and stuff, but I'm going to do a like by like comparison. I'm just kind of like attempting to live delete all of the or enough of the chats to show. But anyway, it's quite nice that there's a chat history, if that makes sense. So let's tick that as well. I don't think I'll get to the end of doing them. Fibonacci series with CSV file in C++. Oops, let's get rid of that one. And you can go in and edit chats as well. The Colax conjecture, that's quite an interesting one too. Right, so anyway, we'll continue because there's probably a lot to delete here. It seems to have dumped a lot of stuff into my GPT. I could do clear all conversations, but I won't for now. Let's just keep it open. So I've got a new chat open here, and I'm just going to, and I've got a new chat on the Bard. So Bard is coloured in like the light colour. I haven't got a dark colouring, and I wonder if there's a dark colouring option. It doesn't look like there's any sort of option here to get a dark mode on there. So ChatGPT comes in dark mode. Google Bard only seems to come in light mode, which won't be great for night times for those that are trying to use it. Now, let's just type in something really basic like a for loop in Python. And actually what I might do is copy that and paste that in here. I won't get them exactly at the same time, paste it in here. But if I hit return and return, let's just see. So I hit return here and then hit return here. And they're both doing their thinking. So it's sort of like a for loop in Python. In fact, maybe it wasn't exactly equal because this is part of the previous conversation. So this is going to go into the GPT. So I'll probably do a reset of chat, hit reset. I'll copy this out, copy, because what I need to do is actually instantiate a new chat, and I'll actually delete this as well when it's done. So I'll prepare this one here. Again, it's a for loop in Python, and I can actually hit the stop generating button there, so we don't need that one, and delete and exit and then tick it off so it's gone. And I'm going to start a new chat over there. In fact, I actually thought I had a new chat open, so and a for loop in Python over here. So let's hit the run button again, run and run. So now they're both equal in new conversations, and let's see what happens at the moment. So ChatGPT starts writing first. It doesn't mean that, and here we see that Google Bard has actually finished first by potentially what looks like quite a way. The output of ChatGPT is a little bit nicer, although sometimes it does get this for loop in Python. Sometimes it does get this a little bit wrong. It says like YAML, for example, for variable in sequence. I'm not sure why it says that. The basic syntax for a for loop Okay, so this is the basic syntax, and then statements to execute. So it's giving you that part, and you can copy the code, which is quite nice. It doesn't look like there's a copy of code here, but what you do have actually for the first part is for variable in escape, for variable in sequence colon, so block of code, and you can copy this block of code out and paste it into the editor. So that looks okay. You can edit the text, I guess, in here. So you can copy, you have to manually copy the code from Google Bard in ChatGPT. You can copy code, and also it's got some color formatting, so we can see that the variable here is white, the strings here are green, the brackets are red, so that's my Python list. So it's a bit cleaner in terms of color syntaxing, and I actually like color highlighting, so this is quite useful. It's very helpful when you're coding because it helps you to find the errors easier. But apart from that, I'm just going to now attempt to look at some of the code. And you've got an example here I'm jumping between the two. So in Bard, we've got, for example, the following code prints the numbers from 1 to 10. So that's quite useful. That's quite a nice help. We do have something down here at the bottom on ChatGPT. We can also use a range function to loop over range numbers. And that's actually, by the way, that's in the Python documentation. Range is part of a for loop, so it's quite nice that both of them have thrown it in, one earlier than the other. Then we've got a my list. Python's used integers in its list example. Nothing wrong with that at all. For item in my list, print item. ChatGPT has used strings. I might say that strings are slightly better, so there's a small win for ChatGPT there, but not really a win. Only the color coding's a little bit better. The Bard one is more generic, so it's for item in my list, whereas ChatGPT has given a more customized, user-friendly one, as in like for fruits. It's given you a basket of fruits, and it says for fruit in fruits. The pure coders might prefer having my list and then for item in my list, but newer coders might quite like this. I actually think I do prefer this because I like to see something like for fruit in fruits. And then we get an example of the output, which is quite nice in ChatGPT. So there's a couple of small wins there for ChatGPT. Colors, the coloring, so the syntax highlighting, the output is helpful in a way. That's kind of like nice. But on the other hand, we've got a dict in here, so an example on a dict. So instead of, we can have for loops and for I in range, and we can iterate over a sequence, which is what we're able to do in Google Bard, and we're also able to iterate over a sequence in ChatGPT. It's giving us the both cases. I've used the list as an example. But Google Bard has gone on because there are actually 4 collection types, and I don't know if they mention them. Well, they probably do, because I see the word sequence mentioned over here and you actually have to read some of the wording, because otherwise that gives you part of the explanation as to what it's telling you, and you can further ask. So it's mentioning sequence. I can see it there bolded again, and over here I'm not sure in we see sequence in here. Was kind of like looking for that, but one of the things is that these are, we do see sequences here for a variety of sequences right over here at the end. And the sequences, that we've got 4 collection types in Python, which is the dictionary, the what are they? We've got the list and a tuple, and we've got a set and a dictionary. They're the 4 collection types. So we've seen 2 collection types used in Python, and they're quite useful actually, because dictionaries are very common. So there's a dictionary that's created, and we've got a key value in my dict.items, which is exactly the perfect way of doing it, better than any coder would tell you. So literally, I think the only thing that Bard is actually missing, which would be nice to have, would be the color coding, some sort of guessing of the color coding, and that's it, I believe. We could ask a follow-up question. I'm trying to think. Oh, here, hold on. I was just about to say that's it, but then I scroll down. We get more outputs. So GPT is giving us example of outputs, which is user friendly. Bard does not give us outputs. I could put examples of the outputs, but actually on the flip side, this is the end of GPT. It's very complete and it's all in one, so that's quite nice. It's saved over here. I don't know if it gets saved over here. It doesn't look like there's a new chat option at the moment, although it appears to be a history thing here, so that might be quite useful. But I did check it on my phone and there was more things like links and stuff. But there are other options. View other drafts. So this is quite interesting. Bard gives you other options for answers. So it gives you variants. GPT does not give you variants. So that is very helpful because let's have a look. We still got for variable in sequence and the for I in range. They look kind of like similar. I wonder if you do get extra bits out. Yeah, I mean, for example, here we're getting, let's loop through a sequence of letters. So we've got the hello world and for character in my string print character. But again, it doesn't show the example. But what it does do is it shows the source. And we don't get a source here. So and I might put the deficiencies in each one. So the deficiency in Bard is that we don't get an example of the output, and the deficiency in ChatGPT is that we don't get the sources provided. So I can actually click on this, and I know it won't open. It's opened in another browser tab that we can't see on the screen, but it's sent me to W3 Schools, which is actually quite a common place for this to be. So I might put just on here. So a couple of wins for each actually. I wonder what this edit text does. Okay, that just lets us edit that. So I'll hit cancel there because presumably, well, you could ask another question or there's no option for regenerate response in Bard, but it gives you 3 responses. But actually you could, if you wanted, alternative responses in ChatGPT. So I guess this is an equalizer. You've got a regenerate of response, whereas Bard gives you 3 outcomes at the top, so you can view the other drafts. It's interesting that only one of the other drafts actually gave a link, because you'd expect that maybe you get a link in all of them. You can Google it as well. So if I click on Google it, I don't know where it will go actually, because it hasn't. I wonder if it's launched another page. Doesn't appear to have. So this Google it one doesn't appear to have worked anywhere. It would launch in a separate browser somewhere if it was going to. And one thing to check, I guess, is the Bard activity. So that again, I clicked on Bard activity and it's opened up something like if you look at your Google Maps and sort of like look at your history, it's got an activity like that. So it's not in the same way where you can save your chats and sort of like have your chats down the side. So Bard is better in some respects than ChatGPT, but in other respects ChatGPT actually, I think ChatGPT 3 on average just about still wins. So it's a close one there. I guess we'll keep testing because both of them are working on their products, and there is a GPT-4. This is the GPT-3. And I'm sure Bard is going to do more. This is an experimental version, by the way. It's only the first day that it's been out, at least for me, although it's been rolled out by Google for other people. So yeah, that's basically it. ChatGPT versus Google Bard. They're sort of like there's other ones as well. There's lots of other ones, but this is what we're beginning to get there.